Hi.
That was a very awkward opening.
Yeah. Um. Hi. This is Ebony,
And Ivory.
and today we're here to talk about.
Thor, Dark World.
Spoiler alert! In case you haven't seen Thor: The Dark World.
Let's start by comparing it to Thor, obviously. Actually, no, let's start at the base. Do you think it was a good movie? Like, as a movie, as a standalone movie?
Meh.
Meh?
It's a really meh. It's not a meh. It's meh.
Really? I thought it was really good.
Everyone thinks that. I swear to God.
Alright, what didn't you like about it?
The villain. You have to admit that was a lame fucking villain.
Yeah, I think the villain could have had more of a background to him rather than just being there, you know?
Yep. Darcy. I didn't mind her in the first film. This bitch fucking annoyed the shit out of me. Due to the fact, listen, she has more screen time than Sif. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
She has more screen time than. Oh, God. That's another thing I'm going to get into. But yeah, the comic relief surrounding her character, in my opinion, it did not work. Hell, the comic relief in general. I liked the comic relief until it was put in the climax of the film. Yeah, there's a scene in the climax of the film where Thor has to take the train.
Yeah, that was a stupid scene. Like
It took time out of the final battle.
Yeah, it was a pointless scene. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of the comic relief in the movie, simply because you can't be serious all the time.
I know that. That's why the Avengers worked. Okay.
Yeah.
When it
Avengers
was
was
funny,
comic relief.
but when it had to get down to business, it got down to fucking business.
I personally like the comic relief. I don't think it shows its moments right in the movie. I also did not like the secret ending, or the scene after.
The ending after the ending.
Yeah, the ending after the ending, because it was just what everybody expected to happen. Like, I expected to see some like teaser to like the Avengers 2 or something, but we didn't. It was just like Thor's back, and that's it. And you see that thing running around. Like, who gives a shit?
Like, pretty much the reason why I think. Like, all right, out of 100, I gave Thor: The Dark World a 71 out of 100, but that's more than what I gave the first Thor movie. I gave it a barely passing grade of 65, but what did you give it?
Which brings up the question: how would you give it? How would you rate it in terms of comparison to the first one?
It was better, but not by much, because I gave the first one a 65.
I thought it was a lot better than the first one in terms of it kept going. The first one, half of the fucking movie was epic. Yeah, it was like epic battles and shit, like back to back to back. And then a long, boring Thor, Natalie
Fish out of
Portman,
water.
Yeah, romance. And then Thor gets thrown back into a final battle. And then that was pretty awesome. I think it was pretty awesome. Anyways, so yeah, it's that middle part. It's just that other half of the movie that bothers me. And they you just fell way too out of circle with it. I think Thor Dark World really stayed focused on the central
Thor
theme.
does a lot more Thor shit.
Yeah, and it stayed central to the theme. It didn't change at all. It was concentrated on the whole darkness thing and this guy. Like I said, the main villain could have had more of a background.
A lot more.
When you think about it, he's not really the main villain. If you think of it as the big picture, Loki is. He's just the villain for this scene. And then, really, by the end of the movie, Loki's fucked up Odin, and now we've got this whole other issue that we haven't looked at yet.
But the way the film was advertised, it made Malekith seem as if he was the main villain, and that Loki was going to have to team up with Thor. I know Loki's a villain at the end.
That's another thing I want to talk about. I'm sorry, you done?
Well, no.
Continue. I'll talk about when.
Yeah, but like Malekith, once again, as I said, he's not a very good villain, and the fact I'm used to the fact that Loki steals the show. I know that, all right.
Loki always steals the show. That's how he rolls.
But Malekith was just so just out of focus. Mm-hmm. That brought the movie down, because I actually felt all right. What's happening with Malekith is treated as a big event, but it feels like a minor inconvenience.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like I said before, Malekith is a very empty character. He doesn't have enough of a background that we feel anything for him as a villain, as a character, as in anything. He's just a guy who wants to take over the world, you know? And that's like the most generic villain ever.
Generic doomsday villain.
And another thing I want to talk about is I love that Loki played his part in this movie. Because in the last Thor and in the Avengers, I personally thought that Loki didn't play the god of mischief. He just played an antagonist.
In the first one, he played a bitch.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, he didn't play the god of mischief. He just played an antagonist.
In this one, he's fucking with everyone.
In this one, everything is mischievous with Loki, and I love it because it really reveals his character. Like, unlike, you know, the Avengers, even though he was the main villain in the Avengers, he didn't really act like a villain. You know,
he did villainous shit.
He did villainous shit, but he didn't have that, you know, whole, like, he had the I'm gonna take over the world theme, but that was it. You know, he didn't really act evil and do anything massively evil. I mean, everything in terms of the army and shit, that was all, you know, what's her face?
What's her face?
No, you know, the alien army. That's all the alien army.
The Chitauri.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in the words of Agent Coulson, he lacks conviction.
You know, if they would have found a way to open the portal without Loki, they would have done it. You know.
True. Yeah.
Like they didn't need Loki for shit. He was just a middleman for that.
Speaking of which, how did he even go there? How did he even meet with the Chitauri's master?
I don't know. Loki does things. He always finds secret ways into different worlds.
They could have shown us.
That's what he does. He's Loki. He finds ways in the secret world.
They could have shown us.
He's mischievous. He doesn't have to
shown us.
Why do you want to see that? Yeah, I do like that Loki actually played his character in this one. I like that Thor was a little more involved in the action. I also do like that Thor-Loki partnership that even though by the end the movie wasn't there, you saw it was still there, you know? Like, even though I'm explaining myself wrong.
You saw that there was a glimpse of it.
I saw that there was a connection between Loki and Thor that had been absent from the Avengers, you know? In the Avengers, they just hated each other. Well, I wouldn't say hated, but you know.
They were antagonistic towards each other.
They were antagonistic towards each other, but in Dark World, we see that there is that brother connection.
Yeah.
Even though they fight, even though, you know, Loki resented Thor, it was still there.
True.
And the connection, I would say, from this movie would be their mother.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Shame what happens. Yeah, that's another thing why I don't like Malekith. Thor's mom beat him.
Yeah, right?
She fucking
got his ass kicked.
the shit out of him.
Well, that just goes to show how awesome Thor's mom is. You'll fuck with Thor's mom.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I know she does.
I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying. If this is our main villain, the villain that was advertised, and not the main character beats him, the mother of the main character beats him, what fucking threat is he? Just saying.
Like we said, he was really empty, like in all aspects of the word. He has no character development. He has no background. He's the most generic villain in the history of Marvel. I could say that.
Yeah.
Unless there's like Captain Generic. Can you imagine that?
Captain Generic. I'm pretty sure he would be more interesting. I'm pretty sure they would go back into, you know, like, give the reason why he's so generic. He's like, I had to do this. But, alright. But, like, I think
I had to do things to get from where I was to where I am today.
I don't want to show you it.
Like, that's it. That's all we know about him.
That's more interesting than Malekith. At least we know he had to do shit. But all right.
Like, I also wish the opening scene where it shows like the whole war, like as a background story, I wish that was longer. You know, it kind of just like skimmed over it and blazed through it, but they didn't. I would have liked to seen that war more involved in the movie.
Yeah.
It was just there and then it was gone.
But I think like the main problem that I have with Thor: The Dark World is pretty much the main problem that I had with the first Thor. The romance.
Yeah, but it wasn't as in your face as it was in the last movie.
Listen, this is a continuation of Thor, right?
Obviously.
In the first film,
Thor will return.
in the first film, Thor falls in love with Jane in the maximum of 3 days because they're two attractive people. Give me a reason why they fall in love with each other.
Good point.
And this film continues
Well,
off of
you want to fuck Natalie Portman?
Fuck, but I don't know her.
Who gives a shit?
Let me continue. And this film continues off of that, and it makes Thor make a lot of decisions that, in my opinion, are really unfounded due to the fact that he only knew her 3 days. Meanwhile, he knew Sif for how many fucking years?
Yeah, that really. I thought that because Odin hinted in the beginning of the movie that Sif was going to be more involved, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be this weird love triangle shit that was going on, but it didn't happen, and I was pissed off about that.
I'm just saying, he knew Sif for long. You would think she was more relevant in Thor's life, but I guess she doesn't amount to 3 days with Natalie Portman, right? Here's another thing. Now, remember, when both Loki and Odin said this to Thor, that they're pretty much,
Because she's human, she's going to be awful.
no,
Well, not
because she's
awful,
human,
but-
she's gonna be,
dead within a century.
yeah. And I'm here's another thing. How similar did Thor look to the way he is now when Jane Foster was born?
Probably the same.
Exactly.
fucking age.
Exactly. So that's
I don't know. I'd love to be 20 for a century.
forever. I'd love to be 20 for over 1,000
No,
years.
their lifetime's 5,000 years. So I
Give
would
or
say.
take.
Yeah, give or take. So then
I'm pretty sure someone lived to 10,000 years.
it's probably Odin's dad or something.
Or or Odin himself.
Yeah. I mean, if Odin was older, I would say that, since Loki gave us the generic, the general age group, I would say that 5,000 is around Odin's age.
Or he's just that awesome.
Or he's that awesome. He is that awesome. Well, if he died by Loki's hand, then it's pretty sad.
Yeah, well, basically, bottom line, due to the fact that Asgardians, their life scale is ridiculous, what would 3 days do? 3 days. And he makes many decisions surrounding these 3 days. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
As a continuation of Thor, the fuck. I mean, if she actually, gave him some armor-piercing questions about himself.
Armor piercing.
I mean, pretty much, you saw the Avengers cartoon, right?
No.
Well, Thor fell in love with Jane Foster because she sacrificed her life and she was a human.
That makes sense.
In Thor, she's just a bitch.
Yeah.
She's an attractive bitch, but a bitch nonetheless. So why would he fall in love with her? And as I said, he makes many decisions for this chick, and I didn't like it. Does that make sense?
I suppose.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it pisses me off because I like Thor. And
I'm cool with the character.
I fucking love Thor. Thor is a badass. I wish we could see more fucking lightning. Because we saw, a couple of glimpses of lightning in Dark World.
Ironically, the most lightning we saw was in the Avengers.
Yeah, right?
Ironically. He was only in that movie for, an hour and 20 minutes.
He was in and out with that fucking movie. Because he showed up, to fight. He showed up to get Loki, and then there was a small fight scene. Then we don't see anybody do anything. And then it was him versus Hulk, and then it was the Battle of New York.
And he brought lightning like it was nothing.
And Thor versus Hulk was the greatest battle ever to exist on the face of the planet ever. Why? Because I'm saying this because
because you love those two characters.
Yeah, those are my two favorite Marvel superheroes.
And they ended it in a tie, which
exactly, and it worked so well. And
yeah, that's one. Yeah, going on a little tangent here, but that's one good thing Joss Whedon did. He didn't make any one character win in a fight.
All right, now going off to the next question, excluding the Avengers, do you think this? Where do you think this stands in terms of how well the Marvel films have been?
Well, shit. Let's talk about all the superhero films this year.
All right, we got Iron Man 3, and that's it.
Iron Man 3, The Wolverine,
Oh yeah, the Wolverine. I forgot about the Wolverine.
Kick-Ass 2.
Let's stick in the Marvel range.
That's still technically Marvel.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
I'll sum that up in one sentence, but yeah.
So we got Iron Man 3,
The Wolverine,
Kick-Ass 2,
and
I think that's it.
Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah. So out of those three, which one do you think is the best?
The Wolverine.
Well, out of those four. Really?
The Wolverine.
I just said the Wolverine wasn't all that.
Nah, I like the Wolverine.
Oh,
I told you I like the Wolverine.
I heard someone say the Wolverine wasn't all that.
That wasn't
I
me.
don't know. All right, so
It was the one that pissed me off the least. I mean, Iron Man 3 for obvious reasons.
Iron Man 3, I had some issues with.
Everyone had issues with Iron Man 3. And ironically, that's the second highest. I think that's the second highest grossing superhero movie, or something.
That's just because of the brand name. It's fucking
I know.
Iron Man.
I know.
He's like the main Avenger.
I wish he wasn't, but okay.
That's what happens when your movie comes out first.
But yeah, Thor: The Dark World is not doing bad. So,
Although freaking Captain America was supposed to come out a while ago, and they delayed it a lot.
I pray that that's good.
Yeah, Captain America: Winter Soldier, I honestly think looks like the best Marvel movie since the Avengers.
I pray.
Looks. I hope it is.
Exactly.
It looks like that.
And
that's because Captain America has become, like, ever since the last movie, he's really stepped up as a fucking character.
Yeah.
And now he's gone batshit crazy in this movie, and it looks awesome, and I want it.
So yeah, we talked about Iron Man 3, Wolverine. Did you see Kick-Ass 2?
I did not.
Good.
I've been
Because I
wanting
fucking
to see
hate that film.
Really? I heard it was actually pretty bad.
I don't give a fuck. I fucking hate that film.
Alright. I'm gonna watch it sooner or later anyways.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's just me because the Kick-Ass movies, I don't like them.
Yeah, I haven't been to a movie theater like 5 times this whole year. Like, I have not gone to a movie theater very often.
If I had a nickel for every time I went to the movie theater this year, I'd have...
You have enough money to buy another movie ticket?
Yes. In fact, yeah. Yeah. And as we just said, Thor: The Dark World, I thought it was meh. And you thought it was pretty cool.
I actually thought it was really nice. I mainly like it from the last Thor, simply because, like I said, the story, they have a good balance of romance and action, and it stays on point with the story. Even the romance story stays on point with the story, for the most part, and that's only because Jane is connected to the main aspect of the villain, but that's...
The ether.
Yeah, it's still part of the story, It stays on track. That's why I like Dark World.
I liked when Jane had those freaking blue and black eyes.
Yeah.
I thought
The alien bug eyes?
I thought those, for some reason, I thought that was sexy.
Okay. That's...
Yeah. How? Based on the shit that we talk about, this is Barney.
I saw a funny meme about Barney earlier.
Everyone makes memes about Barney.
It's so funny.
He's the first pedophile dinosaur.
Smoke weed. Was it weed or crack? I don't remember.
It's Barney. I wouldn't
be surprised if it was both. Anyways.
He's a dinosaur anyway. He could probably survive it. Unless it's a meteor. Oh. Yeah, but yeah. Out of 100 or whatever grading scale.
I mean, I rate my movies out of 5.
Out of 5. How?
I would give it a 3 point. Dark World, I give a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I think that's fair enough, since there were some obviously plot holes. There were empty characters. I like that Loki showed his true colors. I like that Loki is finally showing himself as the god of mischief. I love the fact that it stayed on track as a story. And I do enjoy the action scenes. I mean, Marvel is known for its action scenes. Thor really takes the fucking cake when it comes to action scenes. I think so.
Ironically, the last, the last scene, the climax of the film, I was waiting for some awesome shit. I got, in my opinion,
Yeah, the ending was a little. What's the word I'm looking for?
yeah,
No,
quick,
anti-dramatic.
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like, you expected some crazy, fucking epic, destructive. Like, Thor was gonna summon God lightning from the death, from the dead.
Not even that. I just wanted a straight up fight between him and Malekith. That would give Malekith something to do, in my opinion.
Other than them just, like, teleporting,
Yes.
throwing a punch, teleport, throw a punch, teleport.
Exactly. I wanted a fight, a straight up fight. I mean, I like me. I'm not really a fan of Man of Steel. I thought once again, I thought it was meh, but
I was really disappointed with Man of Steel.
I understand. I personally thought it was meh, but the fight between Superman and Zod, I liked that fight. And if the fight between Thor and Malekith was along the lines of that, then honestly, I probably would have given the movie a higher rating. But I didn't get that, so yeah. So you gave the reasons why you liked it. Me, I like Thor, but I don't like the fact that he makes decisions based on an unfounded romance. 3 days. Once again, 3 fucking days. I understand a lot could happen in 3 days, but if you live 5,000 years, 3 days is nothing to you. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, 3 days. And obviously I didn't like Malekith. I like Loki. This is actually the first film where I actually can say I like Loki.
Yeah, same here. I think Loki is, in my opinion, one of the stronger characters. Well, I would say the second strongest character in the film. Other than, obviously, Thor, because he's Thor, and that's what he does. I do think that Loki actually has developed as a character, and I do love that about this movie.
Yeah, he has a more human side to him.
No, he has a more Loki side to him.
He has a more human side to him.
He has a more Loki side. And that's what I love.
As I said...
Yeah, like I said earlier, that he's actually acting like the god of mischief rather than just an antagonist. So that's what I say.
But in my opinion, I feel he has a more human side. Because I actually feel he actually cared about his mom. But
and I love that scene too, where Thor comes to break him out of the cell, and he was like, "Could you stop this?" And he just throws it down. You actually see the room like really fucked up. I love that, and he looks like shit, and it looks awesome.
Yes, I feel that. Yes, that's a more human side to him. But I understand where you're coming with his more Loki side, because when Thor actually got him out of the cell, that like Loki probably viewed that as a means to an end, and it was. Because he won. And Thor's gone for that 3-day girlfriend.
Well, now it's more than 3 days.
I don't give a fuck. Fine, it's a week.
Well,
Tell me it's not.
It's gonna be a few months. And then...
Right now, it's a week. And whereas Sif, I don't know, it's probably been at the very least, I don't know, 500 years at the very least. God damn it. But anyway, I thought Thor's
I thought it was pretty okay. Like...
What? What?
I thought Thor was an improvement over the last one.
As of Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, Dark World, obviously. I think Dark World was an improvement over the last film. I don't think it was fantastic as a movie. Like, as a standalone movie, I gotta redo everything I just said.
Because I brought up some good points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take two. I think Thor: Dark World was an improvement over Thor. As a standalone film, I also think it was a pretty decent film. Because, once again, maybe it's just because I love Thor.
Yeah.
But, like I said, the story kept on track. Epic action sequences. I think it was a great movie.
Make up your mind! A good movie, a pretty okay movie, a great movie?
I don't know.
Oh my god!
I'm conflicted.
See me? I'm sticking with my opinion. I give it a 71 out of 100. It was an movie. Better than the first one, but not by much. That's my opinion. You...
Alright, I got it. Take two.
Take fucking 10!
Alright, I think Thor: Dark World was an improvement over Thor. I honestly do think as a standalone film, it's pretty good.
Okay. You're sticking with that opinion.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I had to gather my words into my thoughts so that I could exhale as words that were my thoughts, but they weren't my thoughts. You got it? You understand?
You were thinking a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Ebony.
I'm Ivory.
That was our Thor review.
I'm like really off screen.
Wait, fuck. Wait, where's my fucking... Oh, there you go.
It's like you gotta find your fingers on the webcam.
Okay, there you go. Peace.
Whatever.